Snowflakes falling big and round, twinkling lights choking out the sound. Candy canes and gingerbread, the smell of Christmas makes me see red. Santa hats on every head, I wanna burn them, leave them all for dead. Oh, it's Christmas, what a drag! Tinsel dreams in a plastic bag. The joy, the cheer, it's all pretend. Come on, let's go piss off your friends. Shiny bows on every gift make my teeth ache. Skating rinks and snowy drift feel so fake. Hot cocoa spills on frozen ground. The carolers sing, I just want them drowned. Deck the halls, yeah, deck them with rage. Rip the script, tear up the stage. Silent night now, scream it loud. Flip the slate, crush the crowd. Oh, it's Christmas, here we go. Fake smiles under mistletoe. The lights, the bells, it's all a scam. Come on, let's go ruin the fam. Don't keep falling, bury it deep. This town's joy is a promise I won't keep. Christmas is here, yeah. Yeah, go ahead and cheer. I'll be outside smashing reindeer. Oh, it's Christmas, what a drag. Tinsel dreams in a plastic bag. The joy, the cheer, it's all pretend. Come on, let's go piss off your friends. Oh, it's Christmas, here we go. Fake smiles under mistletoe. The lights, the bells, it's all a scam. Come on, let's go ruin the fam. Snow keeps falling, bury it deep. This town's joy is a promise I won't keep. Christmas is here, yeah. Go ahead and cheer. I'll be outside smashing reindeer.
Tiny feet go pitter-patter down the snow-lit halls, checking names and checking twice behind those candy walls. Naughty sneaks and nice daydreamers written big and small. I'm the Christmas elf, I'm on the case, looking for the grins on every face. Naughty or nice, I see it all. I'm the Christmas elf who hears your call. Glitter, dust, and peppermint swirl in my little sack. One for joy and one for kindness, always got your back. Snowflakes dance and whisper secrets as I make my track. Santa's list is long and wild, but I know every single child. I'm the Christmas elf, I'm on the case, looking for the grins on every face. Naughty or nice, I see it all. I'm the Christmas elf who hears your call. Oops, a giggle caught my ear. Was it mischief or good cheer? Spill the cocoa, tell me quick. Are you clever or a trick? I'm the Christmas elf, I'm on the case, looking for the grins on every face. Naughty or nice, I see it all. I'm the Christmas elf yourself, who hears your call. Your bunny suit, it's your messy birthday night. In Christmas lingerie, what a wild sight. With lashes so long they could start a fight. Crying those blues on live stream tonight.
Bunny Sue's got Jose Cuervo, straight from the bottle. No mixers, no ice, full throttle. Wow, she's yelling at YouTube to play her sad jams. Rocking fuzzy slippers like a hot Instagram. It's my damn birthday, where's my parade? She live streaming tears while the rent's unpaid. Throws glitter in the air, but it sticks to the cat. Now everyone watches like, what the hell was that?
Oh, Bunny Sue, why you crying those blues? Sparkling eyeshadow, but your heart's got a bruise. On YouTube, you'll sit in your box all day. Lonely by choice, you like it that way. Raise your glass, girl, it's your birthday display.
Back in the day, she was living it raw. Stripper heels clacking on a sticky dance floor. Cash only, she'd snarl while the bouncers took tips. Moving more powder than a baker's mix.
That's Bunny Sue.
The whispers would say,
She'll take your money and your stash away.
her throne was the stage, a queen of the grind. But the past caught up and ended her prime. Now she's streaming her blues with glittery flair, wishing for the glory she'd lost back there.
Birthday blues, the hidden like bricks. Bunny Sue's drowning in tequila tricks. Toxic as hell, with a smirk and a glare. A train wreck in glitter, and she just doesn't care.
Back home she goes to her box of shame, ranting on YouTube about who's to blame.
The world's a dump and I'm its queen.
She's got 2 viewers watching and one's her screen.
Pours tequila on cake, takes a frosting shot.
I don't need friends,
They're all robots anyways.
her lashes are falling, her wig's askew. Happy birthday
To me cries Bunny Sue. Bunny Sue, why you crying those blues? Sparkling eyeshadow, but your heart's got a bruise. On YouTube, you'll sit in your box all day. Lonely by choice, you like it that way. Raise your glass, girl, and sip your dismay.
I'm toxic as hell, she says with a smirk. Burning every bridge is just part of my work. She scrolls through her phone, rants to the screen.
My life's a wreck, but at least I'm a mean birthday blues.
They're hitting like bricks.
Bunny Sue's drowning in tequila tricks.
Toxic as hell with a smirk and a glare. A train wrecking glitter, and she just doesn't care. Late in the night, she's lost in a stream. Rambling nonsense, chasing some dream.
I don't need no one.
I'm the boss of my box. She knocks over her lights, spilling glittery rocks.
Her cats I impress, giving her shade while Bunny Sue's chaos goes on parade.
She's laughing and crying, a birthday tornado. Sipping old Jose, her own twisted halo. Yo, Bunny Sue, what a birthday night. In Christmas lingerie, what a wild sight. Raise your Cuervo high, toast to the mess. A glitter-filled queen in pure hot distress.
Plus years of law enforcement. If you like all things true crime related from the police perspective, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you will get all things.
I was, hey, believe me, hey, Little Dev, hey, Twister, hey, Snow Angel, welcome, welcome, good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are. So the last time I covered EquiSearch, I couldn't find this interview. I think this one's important. It tells us a lot about the status of the search, like Andy throwing a fit, the neighborhood thinking they were fake searchers. They talk about Dawn going out to dinner with Dawn. If I can remember correctly, we get a lot out of Twila in this live that Duty Ron did. So I'm gonna sit back. I'll come on momentarily. I'm gonna roll a joint and let you guys listen just for a few minutes, and I'll return.
Duty Ron and Ed Wallace. When we go live or upload another video tonight, we have a very special guest, Dave Rader, the director of EquiSearch Midwest, has been not kind enough to come and give us some of his time. He's a very busy man. So I want to just say thank you to Dave Rader coming on this special show. It's 14 days. In 14 short days, we will be at a year of Summer Wells being missing. Again, Ed and I, we've been covering this case on and off over the course of this whole past year. It's just, it tugs at everybody's heartstrings. Ed, I know that you feel the same way I do. We care about our missing. We care about crime victims and their families. In this case, we have Dave Rader, who's going to come on and talk about some of the searching that his group did. How you doing tonight, Ed?
Doing good, Ron. Doing good. I can't believe the change in temperature from the last couple of days out here until today. It's like a cold front is moving in, and I understand it's thunder and lightning out by your neck of the woods.
Yeah, it sure is. 90 degrees plus yesterday, a little bit of humidity, and then today we got now I got to put a jacket on, but not quite that. Dave, how you doing tonight? I know you guys have been busy. Thank you so much for coming in here and spending some time with us. I appreciate you and Twila and the whole EquiSearch team.
It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to see you and Ed and to be on a great program.
Dave, before we get into it, you have been the relationship that we have developed over the course of this short year has been nothing short of just unbelievable with the things that we were able to accomplish. Going out to Bakersfield, California, you guys going down to Summer Wells, and everything that you've done in between, which is countless searches for missing cold cases, active cases locally, cases all over the place. Twila's in Alabama. She's running all around, and you guys are just doing, as we say, God's work. How do you guys get through this, man?
It's tough. I mean, and thank God I've got people like Twila and the rest of this the EquiSearch family. I mean, this is as I've said numerous times on here. This is much bigger than myself, and thank God that I have people in my corner, in this organization's corner, to do what we do best, and that's to help families bring their missing home. And again, I can't thank you enough, and Ed, for being the voice out there and keeping these families' names out there that are still missing. So that's how I keep going.
Yeah, before we go into it, Ed, you definitely toy around with the drones. You know all about crime scene and evidence collection. When you talk about a missing persons case like Summer Wells, we know that sometimes these missing person cases, as we've seen from in the past, they turn into criminal investigations. How important is it for, early on for the crime scene investigators, the detectives, the TBI, FBI, Hawkins County, collecting evidence up front, right up from the get-go?
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but what I would say is that, we have to investigate in the first 48 hours, just like the television show, to see if there's any nefarious activity going on here, or is this a true missing persons, or did some crime occur? Okay. And so you need to get us in there on the front end of this to see what's going on. And again, that requires the cooperation of the missing person's family to allow us to take a look at things maybe they don't want us to look at. So we got to get in there on the ground floor early on in the investigation of the missing persons to see if there's anything afoul happening associated with the missing persons report.
Right. And we saw immediately from the get-go with Candace and Don here, the parents of Summer Wells, their stories didn't make sense, didn't match up. And quickly, everybody, including the investigators, they didn't come outright and say it. But everybody right early on from the early get-go, that it just, some of the things that she talked about just didn't match up. This live stream is not quite about deep diving into the investigation. It's the year in review. I brought Dave on because I want him to tell us in no uncertain terms what he faced 4 days into it. After June 15th, when she was reported missing, in about 4 days, his group packed up and head down to East Tennessee, to Hawkins County. Before we get into it, we have Twila Cisco here, who is the search coordinator. She came in fashionably late, but because I love her so much, I'm not going to break her chops too bad. But she did come in right under the wire. We were going live, and she snuck into the studio. Twila, how you doing?
I was busy. Really,
I know.
really busy.
She's always busy, Twila.
When
Thank
I
you
looked
so
up
much.
there, it was like 1 second.
I know. So, Twila, I want to say
But I
thank
made
you.
it.
I want to say thank you off the bat for taking out the time. I know you're a mom. You're juggling a lot of things there. You're working, flying drones. You're working on cases. So thank you for taking out your time to talk to Crime Time with Duty Ron's family. Everybody wants to hear what you have to say. And that brings me to my next point, is that I want to play a piece of footage that is from the search the second time around. It wasn't the 4 days after June 15th, but this was sometime in late July, correct, Dave?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so this is just a small clip, and it shows Twila and her searchers on the ground, including Mr. Dave Rader, beating through the bush and searching for Summer Wells. So I'm just going to play this quick to show everybody what you guys do and how it's done, and we'll be back in a minute and 26.
We start tonight with new information in the search for Summer Wells. A nonprofit organization that's worked on several other high-profile cases joined the search for her this weekend. Wells has been gone for more than a month. The nonprofit is called EquiSearch. They've worked with authorities to try to find missing girls Natalie Holloway and Kaylee Anthony. The last time they were in Tennessee was to help look for Joe Clyde Daniels.
Let me tell you, I watched all the Natalie Holloway coverage, and these people did an amazing job going out into that ocean, searching them beaches, searching all of Aruba. I really back EquiSearch. I like them. I don't know. I think they're the most professional of all the search teams.
The organization's Midwest division stayed in Hawkins County from yesterday until today. It says crews are using any resources necessary to find her. The director says this includes high-tech drones that can tell if the ground has been dug up, and remote control sonar units that can go into water. This can help crews know what's in a pond, for example, without having to send in a diver. Volunteers say for them, it's a moral responsibility.
I know if I had a child, a loved one, anybody I knew friend-wise that went missing, I wouldn't want everybody in the world out looking for them.
We treat each missing person as if they are our family.
Yes.
Or we treat it like we take it very, very close to our hearts.
Those volunteers say even though they left today, they won't give up. They say they'll keep looking until she's found. And if you have any more information about Summer Wells, call the TBI.
So that TBI hotline number is linked down in the description. Dave, I want to start with you. From the beginning, how does EquiSearch get the call out on a Summer Wells case? Just walk the audience through, and then we'll go over to Twila, because I know she's got a lot to say about it. But just take us back to the beginning on, June 19th, when you guys, or you got the call before then. Just walk the audience through what EquiSearch Midwest did.
So we basically got, we were following this case because it was in Twila's home state, of course, and she brought me kind of up to speed on this. And then when we heard that they were in need of search teams to come down there, then that's when we went ahead and I had Twila actually make contact with them down there.
I'm not sure. I don't think the other woman comes on anymore, believe me. Yeah, I can go back. They were just searchers. I know at this time Twila was on another search. Bad. That's good to know.
Even though they left today, they won't give up. They say they'll keep looking until she's found. And if you have any more information about Summer Wells, call the TBI.
So that TBI hotline number is linked down in the description. Dave, I want to start with you. From the beginning, how does EquiSearch get the call out on a Summer Wells case? Just walk the audience through, and then we'll go over to Twila because I know she's got a lot to say about it. But just take us back to the beginning on, June 19th, when you guys, or you got the call before then. Just walk the audience through what EquiSearch Midwest did.
So we basically got, we were following this case because it was in Twila's home state, of course, and she brought me kind of up to speed on this. And then when we heard that they were in need of search teams to come down there, then that's when we went ahead and I had Twila actually make contact with them down there. And then it was a fast paced from there. We got the phone call in a short time. I think I got it like on a Friday, I believe at 4 o'clock, and I was already on the ground and in the hotel Friday night by 11 o'clock. Twila couldn't make it for that round because it was such short notice, but she was very instrumental as far as getting us in and in on the ground at that time.
And how long did you guys stay on the first go around? Like, how many days were you there? Was it a solid weekend? Were you there for a week? I mean, I never really asked you that question.
I was down there from Friday to
Dave actually got there on Saturday night, and I think I got there on Tuesday. And I think, was you there a week?
I was there until Wednesday.
Right. So you guys did spend
got there. And then,
so you guys did spend quite a bit of time there, and I just, from watching, Ed and I watched some of the early footage, and I think everybody here in the chat watched the early footage. It just seemed like it was so organized, but so massive. There was so many people there. In your estimate, what did you think? A couple hundred people in and out of Hawkins County?
Easy. Yeah, it was absolutely. Yeah, there was. I mean, it was a mass production for sure. Within that first week, it seemed pretty much well organized. They were taking us and putting us with law enforcement, GPS units. They were taking us to specific areas. And then finally, after I think it was that Tuesday that I finally spoke up, and it was like, when she was already gone a week, we needed to expand this because I'll tell you, we were just covering the same tracks over and over and over instead of expanding this, and that's what.
And you see EquiSearch wears the yellow shirts. So you've seen that EquiSearch was searching down by the Fields Road property. He's saying they kept taking them to the same spots over and over and over and over. And that's what we kept seeing too. So that leads me to believe that there must have been a lead down in that area. We know the footprints were down there, but to me, my face is itchy. I don't know. There must have been something significant to Summer's case. How many times did we see them searching down by the command center?
Concerned me the most, and I think they kind of heeded our suggestion on that Wednesday, so we could actually go out and start reconning some areas that was outside of their spectrum.
Go ahead, Ed.
Who was your law enforcement contact initially to get in there?
I think it was just a search coordinator, but Hawkins County was the one who was over, was the main law enforcement, but then they also had TBI and also the FBI.
Twila, I know you started the communication. Who were you communicating with first?
I reached out to everybody I could think of. I reached out to the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, the TBI, everybody. And then finally I got a response back from the Hawkins County Rescue Squad, which then put me over to Coop. But there was I don't know if it was Coop's right hand or whatever that I was communicating with, but I did a lot of communicating with Hawkins County Rescue Squad, which turned out to be a good thing because I got an email the other day, and so did Dave, saying that we've been added to their resource list.
Oh, so that's fantastic. So if they get any more missing or any type of search type situations or setups, you're on the call list for that.
So when you guys,
Little Dev, I think Andy and Dawn made it very difficult. After you hear this whole interview with Twila, you'll understand. But I think Andy and Dawn made it extremely difficult for the search. They caused a lot of confusion during the search with EquiSearch. You're going to hear Twila go on and say that the people in the stores were saying they were fake searchers. I feel like the community didn't welcome them very well. They had a bad time at the beginning of this, but it ended up being good in the end, as far as I remember, because they ended up going back down. However, I think this interview is after they went down the second time. Yeah, they didn't let them out of the area.
guys rolled down there, who did you have to report to stage?
So basically we were,
All
right, Twila, she's going to yield to you, Dave, because you're the boss. Go ahead.
All right. So when I first hit the ground, I checked in with the incident commander to let them know that we were on the ground, how many individuals that we had there, and we were ready to rock and roll with whatever that they had to put us under. So it was not our search by any stretch of the imagination. We were a resource to them, and so basically we were under the incident command, which was, I believe it was between the Hawkins County Search and Rescue, and it was also between them and the with Tim Coop with the Churchill
Rescue Squad. Yeah. I remember that early on, and it looked very organized. It looked like everyone had a team, and they were talking about tracking everyone's movement. I remember Ronnie Lawson came on with the TBI spokesman, and he was on with her, and they were talking about how important it was for outsiders not to come in at that time, not meaning you guys, but just whoever they had scheduled searching. They were tracking them by GPS or satellite or whatever they were using, the program, and they didn't want residents to just come and track into areas that they were searching through. So that was a big thing, and I felt that at the church, at that location, that staging area, it looked like it was a huge piece of property. So it was pretty well organized. I saw a guy on a stanchion talking to you guys, like standing up above you, and doing sort of like a roll call for the day. Were you assigned law enforcement for each one of your teams, Twila?
We were actually, when Dave finally got us the approval to go and do the recon, we split up into our group. We were the only recovery team that was there, and we took our members and separated them into groups, and we had an officer with us in each group. As a matter of fact, they wasn't letting anybody on or off that road because they had law enforcement on each parts of that road. And if a car was coming down, they were handing them the Summer Wells flyer. And at some points, they were actually checking those people's cars. So you couldn't even get down that road right there if you wasn't with the search team or had an officer with you.
Wow. All right. So it was very organized. And then at the end of the day, I guess, you had to just come on, like come back in, and then they were probably responsible for tracking all your movements and stuff, or did you guys have to hand it in individually?
We scanned a QR code, and the TBI and Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, as well as the rescue squads, they was able to see exactly everywhere we were at. So we used the QR code, and I'm going to tell you, there was a lot of ground that was covered, places people would never even imagine, and it was covered.
Wow. So it was a total of around a combination of, Saturday to you left date. You said Wednesday. Twila stayed maybe a little bit later because she was, that's her home state, so she was able to stay a little bit longer. What was the sense that you guys got at the end of this first mission? I know you left there, without the prize, without finding Summer Wells. What was the state, Dave, of your, do you have like a TAC meeting before and after, and then at the end, do you grab your troops up? And what was the sense of how EquiSearch Midwest felt after that first initial visit down into Hawkins County?
Again, it was well organized. I can't say anything bad about that. But at the end of the day, come Tuesday when we were down there and we had spent the whole weekend doing the same thing over and over and over, with our team, we're geared towards you cover a section, and if it's not there, then you expand that circle. And that's what we felt that we needed to do when it started to get frustrating, because we were going over the same exact spots. And then even when we would come back from covering a spot, they would send another team to cover what we did. Now, I understand checks and balances. I always want that, because we're not 100%, and the only way that you're going to do that is with checks and balances, and I had no problem with that. But when you hear of the same area being covered, after day 6, of a child in that kind of heat and that environment, this little girl is not outrunning hundreds of professional search teams on a mountain. She's in dire straits at this point in time with no food, no water. So that was the kind of frustrating thing, and that was the thing that I was trying to get with the incident commander there, is to let us expand this a little bit while we still had the numbers that we could cover larger areas, but outside of what we had just covered for the past 6 days.
Yeah. Frustrating. Sounds frustrating. Did you see any type of crime scene? Were you at the Wells property at any time in the beginning? Was there any searches, or you guys were just searching the mountain or the terrain surrounding that area?
We were everywhere but that property. And from what I understand, they were letting no search teams up there. That was just strictly law enforcement to do their thing up there, which I understood.
Right.
But yeah, it was. We were never. We were around the property, but never on the property.
Ed, I know you could talk about this because you were in crime scene in the New York City Police Department. Law enforcement wants to keep, ground zero where she was reported missing. Now we don't want to forget that the mother said she went into the house. She told the brothers to watch her, that she was going to go. She went to the mother's little trailer 20, 30 yards away or whatever. And then she came back and she was gone. So, Ed, you could talk about how and why law enforcement wouldn't want any civilians up on that property. So some people getting caught up on it, like, oh, why didn't they allow EquiSearch or anybody else to search up there? What's the reasoning maybe behind that, Ed?
Well, again, at this point, we don't know what in fact is going on. So that is the last reported known location for Summer. So we'll control that area there and work outward from that. Think of it as the epicenter of this whole thing. Okay, this is where she said was the last person. The 2 boys were watching Summer after she had just left her grandmom's and went back there. So we'll control that, and that's where we can get eyes on, and we could see, okay, what are they telling us? And does what they're telling us match what we're seeing here? because we just don't want everybody to come there and trample over everything until we get eyes on and then understand what's being said. You know, does that match what we're seeing here? What's the terrain like? Are there any foul play signs here? Is there any blood? Is there any signs of any crime that is occurring, you know, outside of potential drug use and other things that might be, you know, associated with alcoholism and their lifestyle and so forth.
You know, and evidence does come into play a little bit. You know, they want to just see if they see anything that doesn't look right or something that just doesn't match up to the initial statements. I would imagine. I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to do this because I want to play Candace Wells, the very first interview that she gave, which was 619. I know you're shaking your head, Ed. I'm only going to play a little bit of it because I want everyone to hear the way she said she went inside. I came back out. I went in, and she was gone. So that's something that I know that our viewers want to see it. They want to hear it, and that's one of the primary reasons why, from the beginning, any seasoned investigator would say to themselves, this just doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I mean, just folks, just listen to this. Look at the body language. Look at how she does this, and tell me if this sounds reasonable to you.
I know she didn't walk away from this property by herself or off this yard by her swing. I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her and has lured her away from here. Me and my mother and her were planting flowers, and we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers, and I said okay, and I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV, and I told the boys, I said, watch Summer, I'll be back. And within 2 minutes I came back, and I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. She was just gone. I don't go on walks around here or runs because I'm scared of the bears and snakes.
So that was enough for me to hear. And at that point, I just said, something just doesn't smell right here. It's just, that was enough right there for me. And then it goes on for another 12 or 10 minutes. I'm not going to play all the rest of that because that's really not what this is all about. But I wanted to just give the audience an idea of why law enforcement might have initially locked down that property. Because remember, they were getting statements from her and him that we weren't privy to. We didn't hear it. We didn't hear what their initial contact was with these people. But if this is in a controlled environment with a reporter, you can only imagine the shit that she was telling them when they first responded and what he was telling them.
Can I say something on this, Ron? As far as I want people to understand what she had said about how she walked her to the porch and things like that. Put this into perspective: is that the trailer to the front porch is no more than 20 to maybe 30 feet. Wouldn't you say, Twila?
Yeah. I mean, I said yards.
Absolutely. If that, I mean, if I could throw a rock and probably hit it. That's how close. I mean, I could lay down and my body would probably stretch that far out just a little bit. So yeah.
I mean, it was very close.
She literally looked over that way. So where she's sitting right now, I know you guys have been on the property since. She looked over to where the front door is that leads into that house of horrors, and the kitchen is right there. And then the steps that lead down to the playroom, is right there. So, you know, the bottom line is this story stinks to high heavens. And whether it was rehearsed or not, it really sucks. The whole thing stinks. Again, I wanted to play that to give the perspective for some of the folks who think, well, law enforcement was being stingy. They locked down the Wells compound. I call it the Wells garbage dump. The bottom line is that the reason they locked it down is because things didn't seem right. And they didn't need to convey that to us, because in a short period of time after this interview was done, into July, and Bill Cannon and I were arguing on air why the rest of the kids, the three boys, weren't taken away from them immediately. And as we were...
So in my opinion, Dave knew it was a cover-up. I think so too, Tennessee. That's what I was just going to say. They were very angry when they came on this interview. You could see it. You could feel it. You could see the tension. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. However, you hear Dave and Twila not stopping Duty Ron from saying that when they were there searching. So that gives you sort of a look at the behind the scenes conversation that these guys were having. You know, just my opinion on it. I think that you could see frustration, but Twila, I think Dave gets called away for a phone call. I think this is the interview, and Twila comes on and she's by herself and she really has a deep conversation about the search. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm a little impatient. I was trying to speed it up, but us Yankees, we talk too fast. We ain't like the Southerners that have that slow drawl, so we can't speed it up very much. I got it on 125 here, guys. All right.
Arguing that on the air, a day or two later, they took. We were on with you, Bill, Dave, me and Bill, and a day or two later, they took those boys away. And Don said it was because it wasn't safe there. It damn sure wasn't safe there. I want to just go over to Twila quickly because Twila, I know in your initial searching, you guys came across some odd things. You came across pieces of evidence that you spoke to the Hawkins County Sheriff. This is not anything that's a secret or anything like that, but there were some oddities that you guys came across and things like that. You want to just talk a little bit about some of the stuff that you guys ran across? And I know you were chased by a bear the second time around, or you saw one, and it was pretty scary. I just want the folks to know, what you guys came up against.
I can assure anybody that any part of anywhere that Equisearch had been out there, she's not there. And we had came across needles and like just in open fields, needles and syringes. Me and another teammate was out reconning, and there was definitely a bear. That bear came across that field and ran directly in front of us and went up this big old hill like it was flat land. And then I've heard a lot of talk about a horse that was in the area. I can assure you that Equisearch was there in the beginning days of that horse because we most definitely smelled it. But there was a lot of different things out there. I'll tell you my opinion. When I first rolled up into that area, I was thinking, oh my heavens, you cannot make me believe that there is a child out here, because there was so much stuff. I mean, we were searching in any kind of empty buildings that had so much junk in it. And we even searched in a vacant mobile home that was infested with bed bugs and you name it. I think we ran across it down in that area. It was not for the good. And then when I took another team out there, or I took our team with another group, when we conducted another search, the area that we was put in there, let me tell you something. At the end of the day, there was several of our searches that was very sick, very, very sick from the garbage that we had. It was just awful.
Yeah. I asked Dave too about like ticks and fleas and all kinds of, poison ivy and things that you guys might have been running through in there. And that was all very, very present, temperatures in high, 80s and humidity up high 90s. So there you go, Dave.
It was like in the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of obstacles you were up against. And again, you guys aren't getting paid. Nobody's paying you guys to do this stuff. So everyone's volunteer. Dave, no bill given to Hawkins County Sheriff's Department. The Churchill Rescue Squad, did they receive a bill from Equisearch?
Absolutely not. No, nobody receives a bill from us.
Yeah, and that's what makes this group amazing. And if you guys are not supporting them, listen, I have the wristband.
More than 100 personnel and 41 agencies have been involved in the search for Wells since she was reported missing from her home in the Beach Creek community Tuesday night.
All her vehicles are being used to move equipment, supplies, personnel, including her UTV. We use that UTV to deploy canine teams deep within those woods. So those dogs tire out fast when the environment's as hot as it was outside there. Those events would load those canines over that side to side with their handler and get them deep into the woods so they didn't have to start from the road when those dogs get tire out quickly.
If the aerial cannot see that well, we want to get in there, flip every rock, check every crevice, check every spot, just to make sure we don't miss a spot.
Are there a lot of streams back in this area or ponds?
Yes.
Can you give us, I know we can kind of see some of the lush vegetation and what's happening in the sky, but what's it like back there for you all?
Yes, there are numerous streams and creeks that run back out of the mountains on both sides of Beach Creek Road, along with Beach Creek itself. and there are lots of ponds, holding spots for livestock and other things that we feel are just as important as the rest of the search efforts.
A UTV, or Utility Task Vehicle, is a rugged, all-terrain vehicle designed to carry equipment and people across challenging landscapes. Unlike typical ATVs, which are smaller and often have seating for one rider, UTVs are larger, with side-by-side seating and the capability to transport multiple passengers, gear, and essential equipment. They feature four-wheel drive, robust suspension systems, and powerful engines, making them ideal for traversing uneven, steep, or densely wooded areas. UTVs can also be outfitted with specialized attachments, such as winches or cargo carriers, to support a wide range of rescue and search operations, allowing search teams to bring medical kits, communication devices, and other crucial tools into hard-to-reach locations. In the search for summer wells, UTVs would have been invaluable for navigating the rugged, heavily forested terrain around her home in Hawkins County. Search teams could use UTPS to efficiently transport personnel and resources over rough paths that regular vehicles couldn't access, cutting down on time and physical strain for the searchers. Additionally, UTVs allowed teams to expand their search radius quickly, moving between densely wooded areas, narrow trails, and steep inclines with ease. The ability to load the vehicle with critical supplies meant that searchers could stay out in the field longer, reaching isolated spots that otherwise might have taken hours to access on foot, ultimately increasing the thoroughness and efficiency of the search operation. At a public commission meeting, it was mentioned that UTVs played an essential role in supporting the K-9 units and their handlers during the search for summer wells. Given the challenging, rugged terrain of the search area, the UTVs provided a vital means of transporting K-9 teams into dense, hard-to-reach areas without exhausting the dogs or their handlers before they could even begin searching. The K-9s, trained to pick up scents in varied and demanding environments, rely heavily on conserving energy for when they're actively tracking, which can be physically intense and mentally taxing for both the dogs and their handlers. By using UTVs, the search teams ensured that the dogs arrived fresh and alert, maximizing their effectiveness, accuracy, in detecting scents. The handlers, who need to remain vigilant and responsive to their K-9 partners' cues, also benefited from not having to navigate steep inclines and thick underbrush on foot. This strategic use of UTVs allowed the search efforts to cover more ground with precision, making it possible for K-9 teams to focus entirely on their search tasks without being hindered by the fatigue that the rough terrain could otherwise impose. The Tennessee Trail Riding Action RZRs visiting the Eternal Flame at Royal Blue episode 06 SSXS UTV video, uploaded by Adrenaline Junkie Prod on December 4, 2019, showcases UTVs navigating the rugged trails of the North Cumberland Trail System near the Eternal Flame at Royal Blue, approximately 90 miles from Summer Wells' home in Hawkins County, Tennessee. This video highlights the UTV's impressive ability to cross through water and maneuver over rocky terrain, which closely resembles the challenging environment around Summer's home. The wooded, steep, and rocky landscape shown in the video is similar to the conditions search teams encountered during the search for Summer. Its capability to traverse both water and rugged, uneven ground made them invaluable in reaching remote areas that would have been otherwise inaccessible. By transporting K-9 units, handlers, and supplies across the difficult terrain, played a critical role in extending the search area and allowing search teams to cover as much ground as possible in the challenging surroundings. Also featured in the image above is a video titled Hogs Back 2.0 New Crazy Technical Trail. Extreme Off-Road Adventure Feature-Length SXSU TV Ride, uploaded by Adrenaline Junkie Prod on September 3, 2021. This video showcases UTVs tackling highly rugged terrain with ponds, rough turns, and steep mountainous hills. The technical trail depicted in the video highlights the UTV's ability to handle difficult environments, navigating sharp turns and challenging elevations with precision and control. The rough mountainous landscape seen in this video closely resembles the terrain around Summer Wells' home, where search teams encountered steep inclines, dense woods, and unpredictable paths. The ponds and rocky trails shown mirror the types of natural obstacles search teams had to navigate in the Summer Wells search area. Utilizing UTVs for transportation in this kind of environment would have been essential, as it allowed search teams to cover challenging terrain more effectively, ensuring a thorough search of remote areas that would have been nearly impossible to access on foot. In the video Wilderness Search and Rescue Dogs: A Day in the Life by Heroes Next Door, uploaded on September 11, 2021, we get an inside look at the experience of a K-9 search and rescue team as they navigate rugged wilderness terrain. This video offers scenes that illustrate the challenges faced by K9 units and their handlers when operating in densely wooded and uneven areas, much like those around Summerwell's home. Using footage like this, we can visualize the conditions under which K9 units might have been transported by UTVs during the search for Summer. In such challenging terrain, UTVs were essential for safely and efficiently moving K9 units and their handlers to different search areas without exhausting the dogs or their handlers before they could begin tracking. The UTVs allowed teams to cover difficult ground more quickly, conserving the energy of the dogs and giving them the best possible chance to perform effectively. These scenes help illustrate the dedication and effort of the K9 teams, whose focus is always on locating missing persons in even the most remote, hard-to-reach environments.
Sheriff, I have a question for you as far as the investigation goes. I know you probably can't comment on a whole lot, but are you able to say if you've executed any search warrants during this time?
Actually, we've done a tremendous amount of searches, and every one has been a consent search. The community has really stood out. They want to help. They want to give advice. They want to give information. And we've not had to obtain not one search warrant. And it big heart that everybody in the community just want to find Summer.
And Leslie, I know you were talking about credible and you kind of going into what is credible.
If you have information about Summer, if you saw Summer the day she went missing, anything like that, if you captured a photo on a trail camera or surveillance camera, that's a credible tip. Anything that would assist us. Something you see on social media that you know is somebody's opinion or just speculation, that's not a credible tip. In fact, that
We'll continue on with Duty Run and play the rest of that a little later because it's pretty long. And I just want to make sure I split some of my content into what I share. All right, guys.
And for EquiSearch Midwest on DutyRun.com. Every single dime of the money that you guys spend on paying for those wristbands, I funnel that money directly to EquiSearch. Because of the generosity of all of you folks here in the chat, we were able to raise, not just from the fundraiser, but all in all over the year, probably close to $25,000 for these guys. And I can't say enough good about the Crime Time with Duty Run family. You guys are generous, great people. And Dave, Twila, and the whole team who are probably watching either this replay or live here appreciates all of the generosity that you guys have shown over the course of 2021 into 2022. So you guys are just amazing. Dave, I have an interview with you from July. This is the second go around. So I want to cue this
A
up.
Houston-based search team is making.
Hold on a second. And they misspoke. They called you a Houston-based, but you are not. You are Ohio-based. So let's put that on the screen. This is from the second search. You guys are up in Hawkins County the second time around.
Team is making a return trip to Hawkins County to help find 5-year-old Summer Wells. The research is a national nonprofit organization. 16 team members and its Midwest branch will comb through rough and remote terrain on Saturday in and around the Beach Creek community. This will be the second trip for some of them who assisted in the search shortly after Summer first disappeared on June 15th.
Anything that we come across, my people know exactly how to go about clearing an area. And if anything is found, we know how to preserve evidence. We back out of the area, and then we contact law enforcement, of course.
If you have any credible information on where Summer Wells might be, you're asked to please call the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. There's the number.
So that was a quick one. I played that in part because it was the second search. Dave, we're into the second time period. I just want you to just talk to the audience about how that came about. I know that it was there was a time period of frustration where the people who were following this were like, how come they're not doing anything? Because after June 29th, when they gave that last press conference with the TBI, Leslie Earhart, and Hawkins County, they just shut down. They just stopped talking. So how did it come about? Did you guys call? Did Twila call? Did they call you? Let's talk about that.
To be honest with you, Twila, did we reach? I know we reached out to them again, and because we had we re-looked at the cal topo of what was not thoroughly looked at and searched, and I believe that we reached out to Hawkins County.
As a matter of fact, I believe that was the time that Duty Ron was going to go out there with us. So he was in on it also. Remember, Duty Ron, you made contact for us? And yep.
Right. That was when I was talking with the second in charge, Tony. Tony, great guy. And then he put us on to the Detective Pruitt. And then, you guys took it from there. But there was a lot of conversation
So Duty Ron's had some conversations with Tony Allen and then Pruitt. That's interesting. I wonder what he said to them.
Back and forth with them. They had said, well, there's no, we don't need you guys to come out there. I kind of pushed it a couple of times on my lunch break talking with Tony, back and forth. And then he finally said that, you guys could come. I actually squeezed him. I said to him, can we come? We want to come. Can we? And he said, I can't stop you. You guys can come. As long as you don't go onto anyone's private property. Remember there was that whole thing about the private property and everything?
Right.
I felt like it was, because I was pushing them, they kind of said, yes, come. We can't stop you. And I remember there was you had really not much communication with Timmy Coop during that time. None at all, actually. You guys did your thing. You handed in your reports. But could we talk just a little bit about how much ground you covered and how long you were there for that second time?
I think we were there for 3 or 4 days, really kind of going over the mapping that we did a lot of recon. Myself and Twila did a lot of recon work, and she spent a lot of time on the Cal Topo maps with another teammate, Marcy. And we found a lot of places that just wasn't covered within that mile and a half, 2 mile range. And we felt that it was necessary that we needed to mop that up and close those places out just to make sure. And then we expanded from there.
Yeah, and this was all during COVID. I believe Twila even got COVID on that trip. If I'm right, she short time after that got really sick. Right, Twila?
Yes, absolutely. It was horrible. It was horrible. I mean, we barely was able to find places that we could eat at, but we did have some good people in the area that actually was a part of trying to help us get in there too, that brung us over some food. It was just bad, but there was nothing stopping us from doing what we needed to do. We was ready to get on anybody's nerve until we was able to get our feet on the ground out there. And let me tell you, we finally made it happen, and there was no time that was wasted. I think in one particular day, we actually expanded it out 7 or 8 miles just to be on the safe side.
Yeah. Did you guys ever
that's what it was.
Did you guys ever search with drones while you were there? And did you guys bring any dogs, or were there? I know there were dogs there, but did you guys personally bring in dogs that you contracted out, and I know drones, yes, right?
Drones, yes. Dogs, no.
Okay.
Dogs were there when we arrived the first week. They had a multitude of dogs that came on board with them, and they covered a lot of ground. It was cadaver and also tracking dogs. And then we also then brought in Gene. We flew him in from Texas with his high-tech drone, and we had already had missions already picked out as far as on places for him to fly with the camera that he has that actually could tell if a piece of ground was disturbed. But it was just so thick in places with the kudzu. Matter of fact, Twila shared a picture with me last night of an area that Gene flew, and when she sent this to me, I thought it was there was no way it was the same place, and they were doing some clear cutting there. So,
wow.
The amount of kudzu, and I don't know if your viewers know what kudzu is, but it grows a foot every single day, and it's just like a real thick vine. You can't penetrate this stuff.
I think we talked about it on a previous live stream, and Ed Wallace knew about it because he knows about a lot of stuff. And he's down in Louisiana teaching. Look, he's got the LSU hat on. Yeah, I remember too.
Hey, Duty Ron, I can tell you that one of those dog teams that was out there in the beginning days is most definitely a team that I know for sure works their butt off and know what they're doing. As a matter of fact, that's the K9 team that I use out here in the South, and was actually with one of those members from that team this past weekend when we were out conducting the search that I was on this weekend. So I know if she was anywhere where them dogs was at, she would have been found, no doubt in my mind. And I bet Dave can agree to that, because that dog team is A1. I love that dog team.
Absolutely, 100%.
Mm-hmm. So I have so many questions. I got 3 full notepads of questions. I've already gone through one of them. At one point, you guys went back for the drone searching a 3rd time, and you had the opportunity to meet with Candace and Don. Do you feel comfortable enough to talk a little bit about that, Dave and Twila?
Yeah, again, I'll just kind of set my table, and then Twila has a much better rapport with Candace.
Right.
Myself and Don, as everyone has known, is he kind of just wanted to always bash me for some reason. And all I was trying to do was find his daughter. And the last time that we were down there, he came to where we were. I spoke to him one-on-one. He apologized, and you know, I wasn't there for him. I wasn't there for Candace. I wasn't there for anybody except for that little girl. And it was almost like lip service to me with what Don was saying. You know, I appreciated it. Man to man, you know, he said what he had to, and I said what I had to. And I went about doing what I do best, and that's to try to find that little girl. So that was pretty much my extent of meeting with the family. I mean, I met with Candace, and you know, but I think that Twila can speak a little bit more at length as far as on with meeting with them.
I want to just say one thing before Twila talks. One of the primary reasons why EquiSearch would try to speak with, say, the family members of missing people is because family members can give inside information about the person that they're looking for. And it's so important, and Tim Miller talked about this when he was on with us. It's so important to be able to have a rapport with the reporting family, because you can now in turn get inside information about the person who's gone missing. Now here we have a child, but when you're talking about teenage adults or young adults or elderly folks, they can give you some certain information. So it's important that a group like EquiSearch gets to be friendly with the reporters, the people who reported the person missing, not to solve the case, but for them to get to finding the missing and bringing the missing home.
Exactly. And let me just say one thing: is this girl that's sitting down that's on the screen, Twila, I have never seen anybody that can sit down with a family and just it's just so personable. It's amazing to watch her work, and I just let her go. You know, she knows what the hell she's doing. I have all the trust in the world that, you know, but again, she can, you know, there's things that she can sit there and pull out of somebody because of the person that she is. That I can't, or sometimes people don't want to talk to law enforcement, and they want to sit there and talk to somebody other than a badge.
Right.
And Twila takes that on, and I have to say she's damn good at what she does.
Amen to that. I've heard her speak many a times. Twila, what was your take on the Wells? You guys sat down. As a matter of fact, you guys sat and broke bread with them. That's for me a little bit out of my comfort zone. I know I would probably do it to be polite, but I wouldn't. That would be a hard pill for me to swallow, to sit down and break bread with them at the table. You want to talk a little bit about that? I know Ed feels the same way that I do. I would have a hard time not questioning them about their daughter, like on a police level. So it's best that I wasn't there. Twila?
Right. Well, in the beginning, I was like, I had this mindset of, you know, I was angry because I was like, I have an 8-year-old little girl that's on a level of Summer's age, and I was so mad because I was like, how can you let something like that get out of your sight? But deep down in my heart would not let me not communicate with these people, and I didn't sit down with them and try to ask questions, because that's not my job. My job is to, in any case that we get, is to make contact with the family and let them tell me their story. And I never once dug for information, period. And there was multiple times, even after we left that area, you know, Candace has called me, and I can't put my personal opinion out there of the situation. But one thing I can say is, in my heart, I know that they are human beings. And at the end of the day, they are her parents. I'm not going to go in and question them. I'm going to stand right here and be the friend that they need at that very moment to talk to. You know what I mean? And I don't know how that happens with me. I don't put nothing in my head of, let me go in here and see what they say. I mean, for Christ's sakes, they went to dinner with us, and I literally sat at a booth, a small booth, with Don and Candace and one other lady. And I don't know. It just comes natural. And in my heart, I would never want to treat somebody bad, regardless of the circumstances. And I knew if I treated them bad, it was gonna eat me to my core, because I'm not that type of person. I can't do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Now, Ron, when it comes to me though, we, at that point in the beginning, there's no probable cause to get a warrant to do searches there. So I would have to rely on their goodwill to give me consent to do what I needed to do to get onto their property and search the cabins and search the trailer and search the basement and the property itself. So, you know, at that point in time, you know, I would have say, look here, I'm here to help you find your missing child. I need your consent, and I need you to put it in writing so that we make this all legal and allow me to do my job the best that I can do. Absent that, I'm not going to be able.
Exactly. Yes. That's exactly what I said to him, Ed. Exactly what you're saying. He's a smart guy, because I went up there to meet her before our team even got in town, and I said, I'm not here to play detective. I'm not here to investigate. I'm not here to do nothing. I said, to be honest with you, I'm not here for you or your husband or anybody else that's at this house right now. I'm here for that little girl. I said, and that's our goal. And I will tell you this, while we were standing there, they gave us full permission to do whatever we wanted to do on that property, and I didn't have any problems. But it was like, once people get off of that property and out of the area, that's when the craziness starts. But dead on what Ed said, that's exactly what I did.
I want to just say this. This was in July that they went out and had dinner with them.
Did you hear what she said? She said it's when you get off of the property and begin to search, that's where all the craziness begins. So the neighbors were giving them the hard time. I believe she's talking about Andy Bernard and Jody Sue.
The Wells gave law enforcement permission the day they reported and the days to follow, full permission to search their property. The TBI, I have the TBI's website, and I can just go over it quickly with you guys. But I'm not going to put it up on the screen and read it. But they gave them multiple search permissions they gave them permission multiple times to search their home, the crawl space, the sheds, everything on it, every piece of it, up, down, over and under. Drone searches, aerial searches. They had aviation from adjoining counties assisting them in night searches for, I think, 14 days straight. So I did a lot of looking at over the course of this year, but also tonight before we went live, I did a lot of research on what the TBI and the FBI and local and the state did on this case, and they searched a lot. But when when all of the foliage came off the trees, as we know, the end of November, they were back out there again, and everybody went wild. Like, ooh, why are they going back there? Well, they had a clearer view of the seal, the floor of where they want to search the property, all surrounding that property. And Twila, you did get to look at some images of some of the stuff that Chris did and Gene did with the foliage off. How much better of a view do you have? And Ed, you know about this too. I mean, is it night and day, Ed?
Yeah, well, when the canopy drops, okay, so now you have a better view. But what the canopy drops, those leaves, they go down onto the ground. So now the ground is covered.
Right.
Okay, so 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So it gives you a better vantage point. And if you're using LiDAR and you're mapping and so forth, you can find anomalies in the topography, and then you might want to highlight those areas for additional ground searches to send your troops into there and take a look. But like I said, the boots on the ground is high tech is great. You got all the good toys, so forth, but the bottom line, high tech could find something, but it's the boots on the ground that's going to confirm what's going on there.
In your opinion, Ed, what's it going to take to recover Summer Wells? Somebody confessing to this, or somebody coming forward that knows something?
Well, we don't know definitively if she's not alive. We don't know. She still could be alive. Somebody. Listen, the truth is out there. I don't want to sound so cliche-ish, but it's out there. Somebody knows, and they're not talking. Okay. And eventually we'll get the truth. We'll find out what happened here. Was she abducted? Was she removed? Was she the victim of wildlife? Was she the victim of a crime within the family? And now this is all covering up what occurred. Eventually, the truth is going to come out. It always does. Maybe not in the time frame that we would like it to come out, but eventually it'll get out, and we'll know the truth.
Yeah. Amen to that. Trevor Lee sends in a super chat. And those of you who are sending in questions, there'll be a 15-minute period of question and answer. It's coming up soon, so hang on to the end. Trevor Lee sends in the $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Thank you for all you do for Summer Wells. Dave, Twila, Ron, and Ed are the reason she'll get her justice. So much love for this panel. God bless. Trevor is the young gentleman who started the the reward fund for he didn't start it. He donated $2,000 of his own money to the reward fund for Summer Wells, and I can't say enough good about this kid. I've had him on with us so many times. Dave, Twila, Ed, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. University student.
Yeah, University of, I have it written down here, I think East Tennessee Tennessee U. So kudos to you. I sent you the link, Trevor. If you want to come up, you're welcome to come up. I just want to do one thing here. I promised that I wasn't going to do this, but here I am doing it. These are some of the questions on the TBI newsroom. And I just want to go over these quickly. They have updates, but there's some questions. It says, when was Summer last seen? And we know the mother reports last seeing her on the afternoon of June 15th at their home on the 100 block of Ben Hill Road. Have you searched the home and property around the residence, including the basement and around the residence and their property? Yes, more than once. This is the TBI, including the basement, crawl space, all vehicles, outbuildings, barrels, and all other items located on the property. Additionally, K-9 teams specializing in a variety of search methods have also been utilized. Have you searched phones and computers belonging to the Wells family? Yes, working along with the Hawkins County Sheriff, the FBI, numerous subpoenas and search warrants have been obtained, resulting in any available digital evidence being collected, searched, and documented. This includes social media accounts. That's huge. Have you searched the flower bed? That was a big concern. These are just answering some of the questions. There was not a flower bed. Summer's mother and grandmother stated that they were planting flowers with them shortly after she was lost. As you saw in that picture, in the video that one was taken by another YouTube person, it was no flower bed. It was a tire that was filled up with dirt upside down, and they were planting in a like a tire kind of setup. Have you searched the waterways in the area? Yes, dive teams were brought in to search bodies of water in the area. Have you conducted aerial searches? Yes, numerous searches from the air have been completed, especially during the first few weeks of summer after Summer went missing. Additionally, drones were used to map the area and to pinpoint bodies of water as well as any other points of interest. So I implore you guys to go to the tbinewsroom.com. I will link that down below in the description. You can go and look at everything that was done there. Dave, I hate to put you on the spot, but do you think Summer will be found eventually, Dave?
I'm with Ed as far as, there's, again, it goes back to my same thing that I said 360, days ago. It's, there's three people that was in possession of her, watching over her, that knows what the hell happened, and possibly the third. You have to stem from that. They were there. They're their guardian. That's their her guardian. Something had to have that they know happened to this little girl, because, like I said, getting off of that property, it's tough. I mean, it's very tough, and not to be around and found that same night or within 24 hours. My question is did she even make it home? Right. That's been my biggest thing, is did she really make it home? Yeah. I don't know. Will she be found? Only if somebody.
Knowing they met Dawn and Candace a few times, and for him to say that, that's pretty big in my opinion. That's a big statement. I don't even know if they made it home. Dawn bought the land on a quitclaim deed, and from my understanding, people could come back later to make claims to the land, if my memory serves me right. We'll have to look again. I actually have the deed. It's right over there. Let me go see if I could find it, little Dev. I'll let this play. And I think I grabbed the wrong interview. There's another interview with them, but this was a good one, so I guess I'm still on the hunt for the one I'm looking for. I don't know. This ain't over yet.
Comes forward. That's the only way.
Yeah, it's a tough question to ask, and I had to ask it of you. Another thing, too, that I personally am curious about, has Hawkins County or any of the folks down in that area tried to reach out to you guys to ask you to come back? And if they do, will you come back?
Twila?
We get tips through our website, and also, I'm gonna tell anybody here too that's not comfortable. Some people just doesn't feel comfortable reaching out to law enforcement, but I'm in contact with somebody that's with law enforcement that's very, that's on her case, and I feel like when the time comes, we will be requested, and we will stop what we're doing to go out there to assist with anything we possibly can to try to clear more ground for her, because that's some rough stuff out there. But I feel in my heart that when the investigators and stuff needs us, there's no doubt in my mind that they'll reach out to us. They got our number.
Another thing too, thank you for that, Twila. Another thing too that a lot of people get stuck on is like how does EquiSearch get involved in searching for, say, missing people? I mean, I know you guys get hundreds, thousands, maybe, I don't know the exact numbers of what you guys get as inquiries. I know that I get a lot of inquiries for you guys. How does that go? Can you explain that, Dave, how it goes for the folks who are watching?
Well, I mean, as far as there's a lot of times that family members will actually reach out to us. And then they have to fill out the missing person report. And then at that point in time, law enforcement would reach out to us. There's a lot of times where law enforcement actually has mine and Twila's number to contact us directly. So that when that phone call comes, we can immediately start on the process, and we don't have to wait for the missing person report. So if somebody's loved one is missing, they just kind of have to go to the website and fill out a missing person report. And at that point in time, we have to be brought in by law enforcement. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. We always go and work hand in hand with law enforcement.
Right. So that's the pecking order. It goes straight. Law enforcement has to give the kind of the blessing, so to speak, for searching. It's not, say, the family's approval. You need to have law enforcement give you the blessing to go in there.
No. Law enforcement
Stacey, thank you for
I don't think tips were going to EquiSearch. Not at all, T-Talk. And if they were, EquiSearch is equipped for that. Like, they've taken tips in many, many, many other cases as well. But I'm sure whatever they get, they live to a standard that they give to LE. You know what I mean? But I didn't see no flyers going out for EquiSearch with their number on it. Can you tell me where you seen that at? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I didn't know that.
Becoming a channel. Yeah. Stacey, thank you for becoming a channel member. And Tony D sends in a super chat, $20, and says, with Twila and Dave's approval, I will be adding an asset to Midwest team's arsenal very soon. Can't wait. Tony D, send an email to Dave Rader. I'll go over to the Facebook site. You guys know how to get a hold of Dave. If you can't get a hold of him or you can't figure it out, Tony, just send me an email on dutyround.com and I'll forward it over to Dave. That's exciting. Thank you. I know, Dave, you guys are always willing to accept. And here's the message from Tony D. It looks like he's got your he screen grabbed the badge there from Midwest. And he says, with Twila and Dave's approval, I'll be adding an asset to the Midwest team's arsenal very soon. Can't wait.
Thank you, Charlie.
I wonder if that's a new member, Tony, that we have. We have a new member that recently joined, and his name is Tony. And with him having that logo up there, I'm wondering if that's him. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look at his name.
If he joined, then he would probably just communicate that with you guys one-on-one.
Right.
I had another.
Either way, we appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. Canadian Cookie, thank you for becoming a channel member. What a cute screen name, Canadian Cookie. I was going to play Leslie Earhart's press conference from June 24th, but I'm not going to play it. I want to go straight to the questions. Ed, do you have anything else for these guys before we wrap?
No, they do great work. They again, they're all volunteer folks, and yeah, we gave a fundraiser for them back a while ago, and we raised a lot of great money, and I thank you all for that. But continuous support is always needed for their operations. Everybody's hurting these days because of inflation, and we're probably going to go into a recession soon. So every little bit helps. If you can spare some, please give some to the cause here for them. Their gas, their vehicles, hotels, travel, food, and so forth. It's, like I said, an all volunteer organization, and they're going all over the country doing God's work.
Amen to that, Ed. I can't say enough good about EquiSearch. And to those of you who've given super chats, donations straight through PayPal, I've linked all of EquiSearch's information in the description here. And there's a clear and concise way to donate directly to them. But for those of you who send super chats here, everything that comes in on any of the live streams that we do with them, I forward it minus the 30% from YouTube straight to Dave and EquiSearch Midwest. So all of those fundage, Lady May, thank you. She sends in a super chat with a question. In Dave's opinion, does he think Summer is on that mountain? ? And did JSB interfere with her dogs. I don't know who JSB is. I don't know if you know what that is, Dave. If you don't, just ignore it. We don't really get involved in any type of drama or any kind of infighting and stuff like that. I don't know what a JSB interfere is, but Dave, if you can answer maybe the first part of that question, that would be great.
The question is do I think that she's on that mountain? I don't. I can't see how the hell she could be with the amount of people that were on that mountain almost instantaneously and over the few days that the week, the 2 weeks that was just scoured over and over and over by multitude of different search teams and tactics. I would be shocked if she was found on that mountain. Now, the only
Another interesting statement by Dave Radar. I think that was extremely honest, and he gives into the abduction theory in that sense. He also said earlier, I don't even know that she made it home.
The only thing that I can say to that is that was she moved? Now that's a possibility that we don't know. So just knowing what I know and how.
For me, the Fields Road search is because the dogs hit down there. Maybe we didn't know. I feel like that's why they keep going down there, and I think that he's right. There's a possibility that she could have been put somewhere and then moved. I agree with that. Didn't they say they found a shallow grave somewhere down the lines?
How that ground was covered, not only by us, but law enforcement and other search teams? No. Right. Could she have been moved back there afterwards, after everybody sat there and went home? 100%. It's been done.
Yeah. I want to show quickly EquiSearch, the homepage, EquiSearch Midwest. This is their website. So this is their landing page on their website. And right here up at the top, there's a three lines in. There's home, about, cases, and then the fourth is a donate. You click on that donate, and then it gives you a way to donate, which is right here. Boom. And you could just go and donate directly right at that location. So I'll link that down below. And here is their Facebook page. Just want to show this quickly, Dave, because I think this is important. Everyone, if you're on Facebook, go on over to EquiSearch Midwest. I have that linked in the description here. And they have all their cases and things of that nature that they covered. There's tons of missing persons flyers on their Facebook page. So I encourage you to go on over there and check it out, engage, interact, talk with them, donate. There's the letter of recommendation, I believe, from the Jackson Police Department. And at the end of their look at that, lost is not alone right there. Awesome. So that's good stuff. You guys are doing God's work, and I am here every day and any day to support you guys. I thank you for taking out the opportunity and the time to come in here and talk about Summer Wells. I know that you guys have so many active cases that you're working, and when I asked you to do it, you were just name the time and the day, and we'll be there. So,
can I say one more thing before we wrap it up?
Yeah, sure.
As far as the donations, again, it is phenomenal of what your listeners and followers do for us. And in return, I want you to know that $4,000 of the money that was donated to us bought us 2 high-tech drones. One is coming into my hands. One is going into Gene's hands down there to further his research. So that's what your donated dollars do. And Twila just spent 3 days down in Alabama at $4.75 a gallon of gas in hotels. That helped her get to where she needed to help out in another case. We sent down our other drone to Twila. So that's so again, we're trying to sit there and just cover every base that we possibly can. So I just wanted to let you guys know that through your hard working and your generosity of donating is that this is the kind of things that keep us going and keep one step ahead of where we need to be the best that's out there.
That's phenomenal, Dave. And thank you for sharing that, because, a lot of these folks, they don't know what the hard-earned money that they sent in, where it goes, and they know it goes to you guys. But to hear that 2 high-tech drones were purchased with that money from the fundraiser that we spent 4 hours, talking to everybody and anybody. I think that was time well spent. And look, it makes me feel so great to know that you guys have gotten some great equipment, and that equipment is going to go to helping find and bring the missing home. So
100%. Thank you. Thank you for letting me say that.
Awesome. Awesome. Twila, you got any final words? You're starting to get dark there. You might have to light a candle so we could see you.
My daughter came out here. I want to show you because she's always asking me, Mama, when are you going back for summer? When are you going back for summer? And every time I went, she's always wanted to go. As a matter of fact, my son Jaden that just turned 18, Dave got the drone in my hands and he's like, Mama, I'm doing this. You need to go ahead and put me on the team. He wanted to go with me this past weekend, but I couldn't let him. But I just want to stick with what I always say. Treat people the way you want to be treated, because there's so much bad that's going on in the world, and just smile at people, because you never know what somebody else is going through. And that smile can make somebody's whole freaking day. You know what I mean? Just treat people the way you want to be treated, and I think this world would be a better place. And we still won't give up on Summer or any missing person that comes across our path.
Yeah, and Twila, somebody sent in a super chat, Fuzzy Doxy, and she says Twila can stay with me if she's in Birmingham in the area. So you got a place to stay with Fuzzy Doxy.
I'll come stay.
You just got to feed the dog.
I'm coming.
I want to just say this, too, guys and girls. So about the neighbor and that JSB or whatever that the initials were, it just goes to show you how much I don't pay attention to the white noise. Ed and I and Dave and Twila, we do not get involved in any of this infighting and nonsense that goes on. We pay attention to the facts of what's being reported by law enforcement, with the FBI and the TBI, and they're not putting anything out. So if there's nothing to put out, we're not going to start talking about stuff. So infighting between neighbors and people that are overzealous and that want to go out and start trespassing and kicking the can, so to speak, on people's property, we definitely don't. I won't even know anything about it, because I feel that watching stuff like that is time wasted. You can never get those moments back. It's just a waste of time. And the main thing is that it doesn't get us any closer to finding Summer Wells. It just adds to the BS and nonsense that's out there. Don't become the BS and nonsense. No Jagaloon, says Tony D. Absolutely. I have the sign right here. Don't make me pull it out. All right. In addition to proper tactics saves lives, I have my Jagaloon sign. No Jagaloon zone here. Absolutely. Ed, you got any final words for the folks? I know you this is, listen, we wanted to do this because it was important. It's coming up 14 days will be 2 years for Summer Wells. Anybody, any inspiration for anybody who's following this and other cases, things to do, things not to do, anything like that, Ed?
Well, again, don't be one of those YouTubers that show up at these locations and stir up problems. Law enforcement is spread thin these days, and we need help, but we don't need trouble. So if you're not going to contribute to the cause, then there's no reason for you to be there. So just say prayers that we come to some successful conclusion with this case, and understand that those prayers are needed and they're heard.
Yeah, amen to that, brother. And you know what? I'm going to answer this because Lexi Luther has been in the chat so long, but she must have not heard us a few minutes ago talking about this. But yes, we can't. EquiSearch cannot insert themselves into law enforcement or into their cases. They have to be contacted, and they have to have approval to come in. If they don't get approval, they don't just show up. It's not like a reality TV show where Twila and her whole crew shows up and says, "Oh, we're here. We're going to start searching." It all has to be on the up and up. So thank you, Lexi, for that question. And thank you to everybody who has been here. If you're not yet subscribed or given the thumbs up, I encourage you, I'm asking you to please give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all one word, Duty Ron. And we're also on TikTok, Duty Ron. Ed hates it, but we're on there. He has no choice. Dave, Twila, on behalf of Crime Time with Duty Ron, I want to just say thank you, thank you, thank you.
So this was not the interview I was looking for. I have it downloaded somewhere. I have to find it. Let me go see, because this is a bit early. I thought we'd be here a lot longer. Give me a minute. At least a half hour longer. I'll probably have to cut this out, but how about if we listen to a song and calm down a minute? Twister. Before I put a song on, I'm going to show you a song I seen in a concert. It's from a guy named JT Lux. I posted the video the other day. I'll probably have to take it out. They still make you take concert videos out. However, yeah, yes, Twister, I agree. It's not for the internet. All we could do is speculate. I agree too, little Dev, and it does get scary. I'm telling you, I've had some effects up here in PA, and I do believe the We Can Bring You Out people are connected to it. It has gotten dangerous for my family all year. This whole year has been crazy, and I don't even know how to explain what I've been through. And there's some things you just have to keep to yourself because of how dangerous it can get, and it scares me for those that live in Tennessee. Twister, if there's something you can't say, don't. Just your silence already tells me. They did. I got a phone ringing. Let me put the song on for you.
Got a lot of time to figure out where I should find a little bit of a sound. If there's any time to move around, to jump, to march, anything, it's to this next song.
Let me tell you, there were some girls that were next to us, and they were really pretty. And this guy, the singer of this band, JT Lux, was like flirting with them while he was singing, and he thought he was going to be cute and jump into the audience and thought they would catch him. Dude, they let him fall right on his ass. I think I got it on video. I'll have to share it with you. It was the funniest shit I ever seen at a concert. I gotta pack my bowl. I thought I had some in there. You need some? Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Little Dev. Thank you, everybody who asks for people to give my video likes, it supports. I appreciate it. All right, so here's what I found. Here's what we're going to go over next. This is 14 minutes long. It's Dawn and Cher, but guess who's on there with them? Chasing Truth. The one who was always involved, asking questions from very early on, way prior to even going to Rogersville to see the Wells and all their games and shenanigans they played. I thought this would be interesting to go back and look at since we have a little bit of extra time. And then at the end, I'll finish the video I was sharing earlier about the terrain before I end. Come on, play. I'm having a hard time here.
Go ahead. I don't know what you're doing.
It's your channel. Hello, everybody. We have Donald Wells here with us, and we're going to do a little bit of a Q&A, and we just want to say thank you very much to Don for doing this.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't going to be a crucifixion. We're just looking for some answers and setting some things straight. So
Letting him have his voice unmanipulated by anybody's personal gains and media and all of that, and being joined by Tracy with Chasing the Truth also.
yeah, and there's no angle here. We're just having a conversation, and we're going to let Don say what he needs to say. And
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's not something you really think about until all of a sudden you're paying attention to it, I guess.
I think his phone went muted and he doesn't realize that something happened there. Maybe a call came in. Sometimes that'll knock me off of mine as well.
Yeah, it's
Dawn, can you tell us if they verified that you were at work that day? Do you know if they've spoken to your boss?
I don't know exactly what they verified, but
yeah, they should be able to track everything that happened that day. I think that's why there was a big issue when you said you thought it could have been 5:30. Can you clarify the 5:30? Is that when you thought Candace called you, or is that when you thought you got home?
well, I couldn't read. Never asked me or asked for permission or anything. Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really underhanded.
Tracy, I don't know if you could hear at all, but yeah, he said Chris never asked permission. He already assumed he was being recorded for that call, but he was not asked if he could put that on his channel or even record his call. But Donald had assumed he was doing so, but it was not asked or given permission. Same with Jay for Justice.
You didn't know you were being recorded with Jay?
No, I thought it was just a regular conversation, but she never asked on that one. So because of that, I assumed that Chris was probably recording my call also, but I never asked. He never asked me, and
Don, you know that we are recording this right now and that we're going to put it on both of mine and Tracy's channels. And we told you this ahead of time, right? And we asked your permission, right?
Absolutely. And I thank you very much for trying to help me clear this up. Thank you.
I thank you for doing it again when you've been just bombarded with hate. So we're shocked that you did it. And we wish we could help a lot more than just giving you your voice. But I think we did really good for this sit down. But before we end it, without dogging Chris, Is there anything that you want to address that you feel we didn't take care of that you wanted to tonight about what was said? Is there anything you really want to say? Uh-oh, we lost sound again.
Oh no.
I can't believe that they didn't tell him they were recording him. I'm shocked.
That threw me.
I'm really shocked. I didn't hear any of that. So when you said it like back, I said, wait, what? Are you sure?
Mm-hmm. He had said that to me like yesterday or the day before, that, you know, I didn't know that he was recording me. I just called him because he left me a message to call him back.
Well, I caught that he called Chris.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, he called him, so he wasn't ducking the guy. Did he even know that that was recorded? Ugh, that's very deceptive. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like it when people are underhanded like that.
Mm-mm.
It's bad enough what he did, but that's just way too much.
Yeah, that's our job. Isn't to add to it. Our job is to try to help if we can in a responsible way. And are we helping? I don't know.
Well, we're at least not manipulating really what he wants to say.
Right.
Yeah, we're letting him say whatever he wants.
And I think if it was me watching, I think I think he's genuine and sincere. I don't know, but I mean.
So far. I mean, you can see the emotion. It's there, you know, but this is just got to be a nightmare. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm sure we're going to get attacked, but oh well, we're going to get attacked. Anyway.
Yeah, you're getting hate no matter what you do. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
God, even I get hate. I'm not picking at anybody
I'm
or
just
doing
hoping
anything.
that, you know, it's been darn near 2 months and the police are saying there's no person of interest. They let Grandma leave state. I mean, they would have to know and look into everything that we can think of into Don and Candace. They must have done that. Do you remember when I texted you when I heard Candace was letting him in your house? Do you remember? I said, "What are you doing?" And do you remember what you said to me?
When Candace was letting who in the house?
Chris.
Oh, yeah. What I said to you? No, I don't remember. I'm sorry.
I said to you, "What the heck are you doing letting this man in your house with no lawyers present or anything?" And you said to me, "I have nothing to hide."
Right. That's right. Yeah, that's true. I remember that. Yeah, I thought I didn't have nothing to hide, but with him, you better not let him in your house. That's all. He's not your friend.
No.
Yeah, no, he's definitely not. Especially if he's doing that and not even clearing it with you before. That's just sneaky and underhanded, unethical.
Tracy's faces make me crazy. I don't know. It's just the way she's looking, like she's trying to come up with something. And you hear Dawn talk about Chris McDonough like puppet master. Yeah, Twister. Who do you think it is? I don't know if you want to say. Tracy? There's something with her. I don't know. I don't like how close she got to them and how she won't turn on them no matter what. Not even Dawn and Candace, but the PIs and the whole Penny thing bothers me. Like, there's a reason Penny went and talked to the PIs. I went over and checked Lamplight Theater's page in the beginning. The shows they were putting. Yeah, I agree. And a lot of them didn't even seem like churchy. Yep, I have it recorded, Little Dev. We'll go over it again. I just went over it not that long ago. I don't have it recorded. I have what was put online. I had found it not too long ago. I'll have to look for it again. All right.
It's not
Unprofessional,
cool.
all of the above. Tracy, do you have anything to end this interview with?
You know, there's not enough time in the world to really interview Don. There really isn't enough time, and he's got to get back to his family, to Candace.
Please thank Candace, by the way, for all of us for
being okay with this for a little while.
And
Don's one.
You're muted.
Hey, can I say one more thing? Trish had mentioned that I tried selling my kids when I was younger, when I was living in Utah, and I just want to flat out deny that. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Who in the world can you sell kids to anyway? That is just unbelievable.
You, just because you've been on the news and people see dollar signs and stuff, have they always kind of done this to you, or are they really like it's extra now because everybody is seeing, cameras and a few dollar signs, or what? I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, it's been this way ever since I was a little kid. They've turned everybody against me. They've hated me for all these years. They've always hated me. They've turned my dad against me in every way. And all the while, he's co-signing for them new homes, new cars, whatever they want. But they want me out of the way. And another thing, my dad said he was going to leave his house to me when him and his wife died, and I was going to sell my house and pay it off. And since summer, and my dad said that after summer got gone, this is when they started all this. They don't want me around. They don't want me in the picture, and that's fine. They can fight over whatever's left, because I don't want to. They can have it.
The poor guy's going nuts trying to get his own work.
And Candace is calling him. He's probably like, what?
He's probably trying to get on the freaking thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do this in case Don doesn't come back. He's been having some connection issues. So we want to thank you very much to Don for coming on, and thank you very much to Chasing Truth for joining us.
Absolutely.
And yeah, hopefully everybody watching learned something and comes out of here with a little less hate and a little more understanding.
If we, can keep open minds about it, he is more than comfortable and willing to sit down so we can ask him questions, but not if he's being beat up about it. We have no problem sitting down, and as you guys can tell, he's no problem sitting down. So if we want answers and we want to learn the truth, we can't be bashing the poor man. Just let him sit here and talk, and you see he's open to do that.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't ask many questions. He just wants to talk.
He might be trying to pop up.
Yeah, that was the hope, is we just say, okay, here's a question, go. And as long as he wanted to talk, we just let him do his thing.
And there was certain things that we had already known, because I know he's been in contact with PIs and with attorneys. I did help him out with some information with an attorney. So there's certain things that weren't talked about on purpose.
Of course, yeah. And
that's another thing. Cher was so involved. Attorneys, PIs, everything. She was the original one to come out with them. That bothers the fuck out of me, and I don't know why. She is behind the scenes and everything. Then her and Dawn would fight, and then her and Dawn would be friends again. Then her and Dawn would fight. She would bring the other YouTube creators in, like Chasing Truth and Benny. She's the one that started that. Then Ziggy came to YouTube and took that over. That's the way I look at it. Lots of creators connected, in my opinion.
There's certain stuff that he shouldn't be talking about, of course. He just shouldn't be. This family.
Yeah, they've been through hell.
Too much.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think, babe? You want to?
Yeah, I think we'll just end it. I know that he would thank everybody for at least being open to listening again. I don't know. I've really enjoyed getting to know both Candace and him. I think that they are very kind people. So, I mean, he knows my rough past with my dad, and he even wanted to talk to my dad to see if he could have my dad try and find God so that our relationship would be better. You know?
Yeah.
So I was like,
The Canadian criminal. Beautiful. Dawn wants to talk to Cher's dad. I wonder if they know each other from prison at any time.
oh,
I don't know him at all. I'm just hearing what you guys are saying. My feeling has just always been that it was an abduction and he doesn't know. You know, if anything else happened at the house, I don't even think Don knows. I think he's just telling what he knows and that's it. I mean, I really didn't ask a lot. Hey, Chasing Truth was here for moral support or something. I don't know. I have no idea at this point. I guess I'll watch the final cut and be like, girl, you didn't even ask anything. Why are you putting this up? But I didn't want to interrupt him. And I knew you had those questions and we had limited time and tech issues. So I'm like, I'm just going to let them do what they need to do and I'll just sit here and wait. You know, I have like 1,000 questions for this man, but I was not going to do that to him.
I think he'll answer them, if we just give him the time and the room to speak.
Yeah, this wasn't a one
You
and done
see how
thing.
open
We can
he
obviously
is.
have him on again.
Yeah,
or-
he is open. He just wants to explain.
Can you do me one favor though before
Absolutely.
we sign off? Can you just give us a
what?
A little shush. You know my there we go.
Do I do that,
that's my thing.
That's her thing.
And usually
Oh.
I have everyone send me a thumbnail when they're a guest of doing that. So I just had to see you do it. I'm a nerd.
Oh, wait. Yeah, just let me solo you. Okay, now.
Oh, there we go.
Perfect.
Thank you. All right, I'll talk to you.
Gracie,
We'll
what am
send
I
that to
doing? All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
You
too. All right. Do a quick little outro. Do you want to do it or do you want me to do it?
Both of us. I don't know.
All right, guys. Well, hopefully you learned a little bit. And like I said, come out with a little bit less hate. And
I'm leaving that alone. It's the ending. Yes, he did film. Maybe JH is Jackhammer Jamie Wilson. T-Talk. He has a really big channel. And he came out with CSI and Squall. Yeah. TT is a buddy of his. They were at the very first vigil. Twister, that's probably one of the times Twister met him. I know Teresa Griffin came out and defended Jackhammer. She did Little Dev. He was just a strange character within Summer's case, in my opinion. I've covered him a lot. He went to some campground and was praying. I'll show you. I'll come back. Hopefully tonight I'll be able to find it all, and I'll come back tonight then. I do got to make some content, though, so no third or fourth live today. I have to get some of my own content made. I've been going over everybody's, and I really do hate doing that, but I don't mind doing it because I know where it is, and sometimes it's just easier than making content, but I want to make sure I shove some of my own shit in here, which is, by the way, I'm just going to end after the end of my last little bit of video because my husband's going to work and we're going to eat lunch. But here's the end. We have about 7 minutes left. Thank you. 7 minutes left. And then I'm just going to end from there. So peace and love. Yeah. See you all later. Thank you for being here.
It just bogs law enforcement down by having us, we have to go through and check that information and then mark it off. So please, credible tips, we welcome information, but just don't share speculation and rumors that you see on social media.
Here's a focused breakdown on the importance of calling in only credible tips in missing person cases, what constitutes a credible tip, how social media can interfere, and the official number to use for reporting. Importance of credible tips in cases like Summer Wells' disappearance. Credible tips are crucial for directing investigators toward helpful leads. Each credible tip has the potential to bring valuable information to light, aiding authorities in narrowing their focus and making the search more effective. What is a credible tip? A credible tip is information grounded in fact or direct observation. This means that the person providing the tip has seen, heard, or knows something specific about the missing child or circumstances. Vague suspicions or speculative theories do not qualify as credible tips, as they lack actionable details. Direct knowledge or first-hand information for a tip to be credible. It should come from someone with first-hand knowledge, such as having directly seen the child or a suspicious person or vehicle in the area. This type of first-hand information is far more useful than indirect or speculative input. Impact of false tips: when tips aren't credible, they waste valuable resources. Investigators must review, assess, and sometimes even pursue these tips, which takes time away from following up on genuine leads. This misdirection can slow down the investigation, potentially delaying progress. Role of social media in tip saturation: social media, while helpful in spreading awareness, can also inundate tip lines with unverified information. Speculative discussions online often lead people to call in vague theories or rumors, overloading investigators with unhelpful data. Distinguishing between leads and speculation on social media. Theories about the case often evolve into supposed leads, however. These are usually speculative and don't hold up to investigative scrutiny. Investigators prioritize tips based on reliability and actionable content, and social media chatter rarely meets this standard. How social media complicates investigations. With an influx of calls spurred by social media discussions, investigators are forced to spend more time sifting through calls to identify valid tips. This can overwhelm tip lines, causing delays in processing genuine, credible information. Preserving resources for credible tips. By only calling in credible tips, the public can help ensure that law enforcement resources are dedicated to solid leads. This efficiency is vital in missing person cases, where each moment counts and the investigative response needs to be as precise as possible. Community's role in responsible reporting. For community members and social media users who may be following the case, it's important to remember that only credible tips should be called in. This allows the investigative team to focus on truly relevant information that could lead to finding the child. The official tip line: for credible tips only, call 1-800-TBI-FIND. This number is specifically designated to handle tips in the Summer Wells case and other investigations. By calling this line only with verified information, you can play a vital role in assisting law enforcement in finding Summer or gathering important evidence. Being responsible about reporting and filtering out speculative information is essential for effective law enforcement work in missing person cases.
I have a question. I'm kind of reluctant to ask you, but is there a point in this search when you all will come to the conclusion that this is not a lost child anymore? This is possibly abduction? Is there a amount of time or amount of territory?
Well, at this time, the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance are very much under investigation. So currently, it's an active and ongoing investigation. We're not going to stop until we determine what happened to her, and we're just taking it one day at a time.
What has the interaction been like with the child's parents? I know that they've spoken with us on and about interactions with law enforcement and HB, polygraphy, and so forth. Can you speak to us a little bit about the interaction with the parents and how that helps or not helps with the investigation?
All I can say in that aspect is that they're currently cooperating. I cannot. I can just tell you that any information we have, any lead that comes in, we're going to follow up on that, and all avenues are being explored.
How are crews feeling right now? Again, back to Captain Coop and Sheriff Lawson. How are they handling this right now, especially with kind of seeing an increase in temperature outside?
So, as stated before, the outpouring of community and businesses in this area, they are very limited on the time. Once they get certain areas covered, they are being required to come back to the command post and staging area to rehab. Plenty of water, Powerade, Gatorade, food, protein bars, stuff to keep them hydrated and nourished during this whole entire time. And as one stated before I left, they are also 100% involved. They said, we will not stop.
Deep inside Japrags Park in Heinsberg, Vermont,
there's a mystery. Back in 2011,